for being on this panel. Yes, I've been through one halving. How many halvings have you been through? Two? One. So okay, we've been through one halving and we've seen certain things happen at that point in time. The question that I wanted to really ask is, and it's for the entire panel here, is why exactly do you think that halving was, or Bitcoin halving was absolutely necessary? Why was halving necessary? I'm talking about Siddharth was saying there's a little halving and all that.
So Bitcoin stands out as a currency because of its deflationary ability. Most currencies inflate year after year across the world. There's no currency that releases less dollars or less rupees when the following year occurs. Bitcoin actually does release less Bitcoin. And so having a halving is important because now less Bitcoin are going to be released with each block reward, and that's very important because it shows the difference between an inflationary versus a deflationary currency. And Bitcoin being the first deflationary currency, that's what makes the halving so important.
Yeah, I think the way this halving is designed is in such a way that the major part of the coins, the portion of the coins will be available in the initial stages, and then the smaller pieces keep on getting added in the later stages. So that on one side, like he says, it's about making it deflationary, and on the other side, I think they kind of figured out how much bitcoins you really want to exist over a period of time, and then obviously do the math backwards.
In my head, it's all about incentives, and so in the early days of Bitcoin, no one knew what Bitcoin was, and you needed a much larger incentive to get miners to want to participate in the network and mine. But over time, because of it gaining more mainstream appeal, there's a lot more miners that are naturally coming in. So it kind of, an analogy is like Uber. In the early days of Uber, they would pay drivers a lot to incentivize them to drive for Uber because no one wanted to drive for Uber and they had to pay them a lot. They would actually pay them full-time salaries to drive. But now their hourly rates are basically commoditized to taxi driver levels. Same thing, so it's the same analogy. It happens in every kind of network where things commoditize over time.
That's excellent stuff. So, being able to reduce the incentives at a given point in time when we have more and more miners coming in, making it deflationary in some form or the other. But why don't we speak about any other crypto in the same breath? Why only Bitcoin halving when it comes an event to watch out for? And we don't do the same thing for maybe Ethereum or Litecoin or something else.
Because Bitcoin is the elephant in the room. We call finance centralized, but Bitcoin is like the elephant in the room, and so everyone, it matters.
Yes, but at the same time, we say we don't look at other halvings, but we look at the prior history of Bitcoin halvings, but we also look at the prior history of Litecoin halvings. Litecoin just had a halving that pumped 300% in Satoshis against Bitcoin, leading right up to all-time highs in the middle of a bear market. So we do technically look at other coins. There are other big players that have halvings, not kings per se like Bitcoin, but we do analyze other halvings and how they may impact future halvings for Bitcoin.
I think it is definitely related to the pricing, right? So if you see, because the incentive for the miners is kind of reduced to half, then how will the miners start reacting? And will they be able to sustain with such kind of mining power, continue to exist, and such things? And if you see, Bitcoin is I think some 66% of the total value of the entire crypto ecosystem, all the cryptos combined. So that makes it obviously so significant that it just stands out.
Yeah, okay, so Bitcoin is king and the elephant in the room, it's absolutely a no-brainer when it comes to Bitcoin and stuff, because that's where it all started, and I think it all makes sense to let it be the elephant in the room till the time. But then, talking about the being bullish about the entire halving part, because we noted that there is a price rise or a spike when the halving happens, right? Now, are we bullish about the halving of Bitcoin is because it will make you richer by 300% or something? Or are there any other reasons why people are so bullish about halving?
I think so. The first thing is it's some kind of news making event. That's the first thing, and it's happening third time. In the obviously Bitcoin being the oldest third time next week that is going through, and there is so much of things for people and to central banks and everyone to learn how this kind of reducing the injection of currency will eventually have some kind of impact on the ecosystem, right? So the number of eyes who watch for that is too many.
Is it getting bigger? Are you saying, are the number of people watching the halving happen getting bigger now?
I think more and more people who are interested in that, the event would obviously look bigger and bigger. But I think, it is again like dividends for an equity. If you know the dividends are coming, the moment the dividends are declared, there will be a price fluctuation in the equity, but it is not when dividends get distributed. And here we are talking about a short event. So, to what extent does the price fluctuation happens at this time will be very interesting to see. If it was the first time and second time, the number of people who knew about this is like very, very insignificant.
Yeah.
Now I would say maybe more than 100 times more number of people know about Bitcoin in 2020 than how many people knew maybe in 2016 when the last halving happened. So this, I think, kind of makes me think this may not be a big pricing movement exhibition.
Will still be richer. Yeah, you said something.
I do think the Bitcoin halving will have a positive effect on the overall price of Bitcoin, but it'll have the effect because more people know about the halving. Interesting. But as far as halving,
So his viewers and see what happens.
so as far as what the impact will be, it's either going to be positive or negative. Everyone's hoping for positive because we're all Bitcoin holders. But if you fade positive sentiment, you've got to bet that it'll go down. I don't personally think it'll go down. I think it'll be positive, and for my holdings, I personally hope it is positive. But I think the one thing that will make it positive is the audience. Countries like India, countries like China that had bans, whether it was banking or ICOs or trading altogether, are now opening up to this. So for the first time in history, we have billions of people who are going to learn about the halving, and they're going to learn about it basically overnight. And when that happens, it's going to be a flood of money into the market. So sure, a lot of investors are preparing for this, but they're preparing in a way where they're doing OTC deals to not impact the price. When the flood of retail money comes into the market, when they learn what the halving actually means, that's what we're going to see the price impact.
Awesome. So I'll come back to that. Right? Preethi had something to say on this. Okay, fair enough. So now I'm not going to be pricing here. As you're saying, there are more and more people going to come across, and people are going to pump a lot of money into it. All right. Do you estimate that probably this could be the beginning of Bitcoin price stabilizing? Henceforth, and we see a now trend coming in place?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see price stabilization anytime soon. Because think about it, Bitcoin's still just backed by faith. And as long as that remains the truth, like it is a speculative asset, like no one can deny that. So until it becomes real hard money, and it becomes like a circular economy, like I was saying when I talk, like price is going to keep spiking because it's purely based on speculation at this point. But the other point I wanted to make was, what I find interesting is I kind of purposely been staying away from crypto Twitter because I realized some of the high flying that happens in there. And yesterday when I found out I was on this panel, I was like, let's see what's happening on crypto Twitter. And I noticed that a lot of maximalists use these events as a way to almost convince more people to get into Bitcoin. So they're creating a lot of interesting hype around, like, oh, you better get in, like, here's what the trend was last two halvings, and it's a way to market and hype Bitcoin. I think that's a powerful meme that they're using to drive more people into the space. So I find that interesting.
Cool. So we are crowdsourcing more believers, is I think what we're doing, right? Yeah. You see something? Okay, great. anything to say on this?
That's exactly same as what she says.
This is so good, yeah. So as maybe Bitcoin maximalists or Bitcoin believers, we're trying to pump in more people coming in. Is what you're trying to say. Fantastic. So my question here is now let's look at this topic per se, right? And you have knowledge of the previous topics also. Will it follow the same trend when it comes to the exchanges per se or anything else or the OECD links?
See, when it previous to halving, right? If you're talking about the prices as well, so the event is different from the effect that will happen because of the event. So when the event has happened, it was like maybe 10, 20, 30 or maybe 20% plus minus whatever it is. But if you see over a period of time, when that effect sinks in into the ecosystem, eventually that kinds of lead to a completely different. It could be positive or negative, but it could just be emotional when the actual event happens, but you will only figure out the effect of it over a period of time. Like for example, demonetization was one of the event, but how much effect did we see in the first 2 months or on the same day? The real estate prices did not drop on that day, right? It has dropped now, or maybe you can see what I mean. Right? So it eventually have its effect over a period of time. I think that is that's what we have seen with the Bitcoin halving as well from my analysis of but what I can say is, see, when the Bitcoin halving happens this time and to the next time, do I see really significant price increase? If Bitcoin is successful, that's definitely true. But this event is not what will just drive it.
So okay, so is the event more an emotional thing right now, or is it of course it's a scientific thing because it's been laid out in the code, right? That after every 210,000 blocks there'll be halving, but it has become more emotional, right? Isn't it?
I take it back to Econ 101. It's fairly simple. Supply and demand determine price. So if we all of a sudden have this demand that comes being driven by India, China, other large countries that were taking part in crypto before, their demand to jump, price is going to jump too. If now you have a headwind that decreases the supply that's coming into the market, you have a parabolic increase in demand but no increase in supply. That drives the price to an incredible level. So I don't think there'll be any stability in Bitcoin anytime soon. I do think it's going to be a hyper-volatile asset, but I do think it'll go positively because history, but also because of supply and demand. Supply is being cut, and it's going to go through the roof.
But I don't think I completely agree with what you're saying because Bitcoin is not like a perishable vegetable or anything like that. So because we say okay, there is the supply and on the other side you will have demand. And if you're talking about whatever was kind of available through supply in the last 1 month, it has to be consumed in the next 1 month. It will be different. But right now we have more than 90% of the entire Bitcoin mass of 21 million already released to the market. So now we are talking about decreasing the injection of the remaining 10%. Right? So and if you are talking about supply, now the supply we're talking about is up to 90 million Bitcoin that exists. It's not just about the decrease in the new thing that is coming in. Right? Yeah. That's all I say.
So yeah, of course, I think 90% is already out in the market. 80 million are already out in the market, and we only have 2 million, 3 million remaining, which is going to be distributed over the next 40 years, right? But what I know is till about 2040, I believe that 99% would have already come out, and we have decimals being laid out, have been laid out on the side. Yeah, so now, so why we talk about halving? Something which is very important is the business of the network around halving, which is the miners per se, right? Now, the miners have to maintain an infrastructure to let the network survive and network work. With this, I was thinking my Siddharth is not here. Alright, yeah, this is Siddharth and Wazirx. He was supposed to be in this panel, let's say.
I was talking to one crypto fan guy, just got
Yeah, okay, so we have another crypto friend here. So what I'm talking about here is, Siddharth, I'm sure you must have understood this. My question here would be, how will the miners now find means to survive or sustain their business of flowing this entire mining activity?
So there is a very important aspect, economic aspect of the whole crypto ecosystem. The most capital-intensive business is actually mining. A lot of people have put lots of. I don't even have the numbers there, but everything is very expensive when it comes to mining. Now think about it. If I put like say 200 or 300 million dollars, and it's not going to be profitable. Right, that is a problem, right? Say tomorrow I start getting less bitcoins, that is a problem. So, and the other aspect of it, who controls the price movement, right? In general, we all know the guys who have more control over the circulation usually control the price movement, which in most cases is the miners. So when you think about it, from any economic point of view, it doesn't make sense that, it does make sense where for them to be profitable after investing so much money, the cost of whatever has to go up or not. Now the other question is whether it has already been adjusted in the past numbers that we don't know. We don't know all the numbers. But this is like a very abstract, basic understanding of how miners work, how expensive it is, and will they continue to do that or not, or they just go out of business, right? And we know they are important in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, in my head at least, again, it's kind of simple. It's like, if they're getting half as many block rewards, then there's only two other ways they can stay profitable. Either the price has to go up per coin, or we pay higher fees. Like, where else is that money going to come from? So, one of those things are going to happen. Either the price goes up, or the fees goes up, or it's a balance of both. And so it'll be interesting to see how fees goes up, because no one's really talking about that part as much as price, which I find interesting, because I do think the more likely outcome is fees go up.
I see. Okay. I think it's very interesting what you said. I think fees going up is going to be probably. So do you think it's going to affect the Bitcoin economy in some way or the other? I mean, if fees suddenly goes higher than what is there today, and because we are worried about, I'm going to get richer because Bitcoin prices go high. I'm going to be profitable because my mining is costing me $200,000, all right, and I'm going to get more. But nobody's talking about our transaction fees.
I think it makes really good sense, because even if you think about it from right from the beginning, this, the Satoshi model, right? When we mine the last block, how else the miners are going to make money, right? That is only through fees. So essentially, you will see this correlation where slowly the fees is more is going up, which at least keeps miners more profitable.
Yeah, so, I don't really think the fees will really get affected because of halving. Because, see, let's say I am one of the miners and I am running a mining machine, and I just have, let's say this is the next block that I am mining is my block for whatever reasons. Then why would I just say, okay, I'll leave it empty or fill it half, when I still have the capacity to fill it completely and just take whatever the fees available.
So we're talking about the entire Bitcoin mining economy, all right? That's that. So if I have to invest a lot of money, which I have done in the past, to buy equipment, place them somewhere, find a place where I have less electricity, all right? And I have to derive my profitability out of transaction fees, it doesn't make any sense.
No, I think there will be some kind of say very marginally profitable miners who may have to shut down their miners for some time till maybe the network again stabilizes, so that they can do the reassessment whether they can still be profitable and get them back. But I definitely expect the total mining power to go down when when this halving happens, because there's a lot of unpredictability just at that particular moment. Just after that, there's again reassessment and getting it back.
Yeah,
But the only reason why I think the fees would ever go up, with my understanding, is the number of transactions. It cannot be because of money.
The other interesting thing that could happen is, like you said, there'll be obviously a whole reorganization of the mining economy because all the people who can't stay profitable, only the most efficient miners basically will exist, which could mean that it becomes even more centralized. So that's like another consequence of having.
And generally speaking, it is sort of like centralized. There are only like very few big miners, like it's not, the rules are like, it's just handled, right? And like he suggested, right, so even if they want to fill the block in the next block, I would keep the mining power, the mining fee low. But that is only individuals who will do it, and they will usually not get the first block, right? The next block. But the price is controlled by the pool, right? The majority of the guys who control, like I said, there are probably 5 or 6 big pools, and if they decide to increase it to stay profitable, nobody else can do anything about it.
See, I noticed, I've been a miner, so I understand the fact that there are pools, and when I started mining, there were about 35 odd different pools, small and big, which have the entire, the pool structure if you look at the pie chart. But right now, of course, there are 5 very large ones. But what will happen here is, instead of the one machine that I have to mine right now, because it's 1.5, it may mean that I have to add 1.5 machines or 2 machines, which increases my cost of capital. Alright, when I look at my increase of cost of capital, I will not only want to rely on the price, I want to rely a little bit on the transaction fees too. Alright, and I say, okay, I would like to increase the transaction fee a little bit, so that hey, I remain a little bit profitable. And the smaller people who are mining may want to assimilate into a bigger pool, saying, hey, we can't manage it, so please have the machines. And let me tell you, the machine costs are also increasing. The machine costs are increasing phenomenally. The latest S17 and T17s from Menon is huge. The ant miners, they're $2,300 per machine right now. They're giving phenomenal amount of THS, 56 THS, but the costs are huge. So imagine if I have to recover and I have to put 100 of them and wait for price to rise because of halving. That's going to be a big ask for me. Yeah.
I'm not sure if everybody understands how mining works. If you are an individual and you would go online and try to mine, you are never going to be successful because the probability of you finding the next block is very low. So what individual people like me or anybody else in the room would do is they will always join a pool. Now, you join a pool, it does not mean that you actually find a block. One of the other guy would find a block and everybody divides among everybody else. So that is how pools are formed. So the deciding factor of the fee should be up or down, it's not on me, it's actually on the pool. So if the pool decides, we should increase the price for a fee, I mean, you can probably vote or, not be with them, but that is how it works.
Awesome. Preethi, is it an economy of scale when you talk about Bitcoin halving and Bitcoin mining? If we have more people joining mining, probably we'll have a price increase or we'll have a price decrease depending on what we have. Is it an economy of scale?
What do you mean by?
I'm saying, for example, I'm talking about volumes. If I have more people joining mining, all right, will I be able to see a decrease or increase in price, or how does it get controlled?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't see how more people would be joining mining just because it's becoming more and more of a commodity business over time, and not many people can afford to enter those kinds of businesses. So I don't even see that scenario happening. But yeah.
The only way I see a significant jump in the number of miners is if we see a significant jump in the price of Bitcoin. If the price of Bitcoin skyrockets or even doubles, then all of a sudden everyone and their brother is going to be trying to buy miners even at $2,000 a piece because they'll be profitable for a specific amount of time. Unless the Bitcoin price improves, there's not going to be that jump in miners. And especially with the halving and the uncertainty, no one's going to be putting money into investments where they have no idea what's going to happen. It's a high risk, high reward scenario right now, and you're purely in speculation.
I agree.
Yeah, I think see the money that is put into these kinds of miners is like the security walls you have constructed around the Bitcoin ecosystem. The more and more that investments that exist, then the Bitcoin will become more and more secure. But if you see the correlation between the market cap of Bitcoin to how much money is being put into miners, I think the money that you have put into miners in a way of correlation is much significant already. So which means, let's say if I have to see in 2017 as well, the mining maybe was like 1/10 of what it is today, but the price was maybe into 3 times, right? So unless the price of Bitcoin continues to go high, it won't need more and more security around it, right? So, but if it goes high, then everyone starts understanding, yes, the more secure it is, it's profitable, for individually it's profitable as well, and people will start investing.
Yeah, okay. Fantastic, yeah. Jake, you are a big proponent of proof of stake. We've been talking about mining, putting in mining machines. This is more to do with proof of work, all right? So do you think eventually we're going to see some movement from people who say, okay, proof of work is in and out and we don't want to do any more proof of work, let's get a proof of stake and try our hand on anything else apart from Bitcoin?
I think it comes down to the individual's background. If you're okay putting up the money for miners and you understand how the coding and the database works, you're going to stick to mining. If you have the capital to buy coins and you want to use it almost like a savings account or a checking account just in the currency of your choice, you're going to do proof of stake. So each individual is going to have to make that decision for themselves. And if you're an investor, it's more likely you're going to be a proof of stake versus if you're someone who's in the development world, you'll be.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think I don't have many questions about Bitcoin halving, but it's such a simple event in the life of Bitcoin that every 4 years there is a halving happening. Not in 4 years, 210,000 blocks, and a halving happens, and there is a price rise. Everybody expects that price rise to happen and make money out of it. And but of course, the idea then would be to ask people here, the panelists here, is how does Bitcoin halving as such affect the community sitting here? How will it affect the community? Is it only price rise, or are we going to see something else coming out of this entire halving? I don't know, this is a question which came to my mind as I'll ask you guys.
No, I think, see, people who are on the verge that, yes, I want to get into Bitcoin sometime. So those people kind of, this is one of the events which can give them a push because of the media coverage that gets, number of people who get to know about this, and usually no matter how much you want to keep the price aside, it gets right? So no matter what you do. And we have more and more education happening about how this kind of halving is a better phenomenon. I don't know what made Satoshi Nakamoto to think about this, but it's like a fantastic thing. He came up with a random number 21. I mean, I don't know why it was 21. But when people ask why is it 21 million, I've read so many times that 42 is the answer for everything, right? If 42 is the answer for everything, and if let's say Bitcoin is successful, it is half of every transaction or half of the whatever happens. It could be, say, whether you buy Litres or lamb or a Lamborghini. You pay money on the other side, then you get the object from both sides, right? So for the money which is half of the things, so out of 42, this should be 21.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think, but yeah, so this particular concept-wise, it's just like has fit in, and I haven't really heard of any other even say game-related currencies or anything like that where this kind of mechanism was implemented and successful. It just became, I mean, how it is, I think it's the first time it's like.
Yeah, I see. So I think I got a trial and error, and somehow it's successful right now. Right? And okay, my final question then, probably if you have time, we'll open it to the floor if required. And my question would be, as somebody who borrows Bitcoin or who owns Bitcoin, can I time my buying and selling based on halving?
I'm a terrible trader, so I can't say.
So people who are there, can I time my buying and selling?
So I'm prepared to wait up to at least half of the time till the next halving, which is at least 2 years. You could be at you could get locked out, right? So this is a good time. Don't wait for the heat to turn up about halving. At least we are 2 months away, and it doesn't really turn up yet. Even it's more about discussion phase. Whether it's already factored in, we don't know. Even if it is factored in, at least we know that the price is just not dropping. So maybe this is a good time and may have that effect sink in for maybe like 1-2 years. And if you are planning to such an extent, it may be. Yeah.
If you're looking at trading Bitcoin, you should be looking at what time frame. Most people in the audience aren't trading Bitcoin on a daily basis. So if you're not trading it on a daily basis, the halvings normally have a benefit over a 2-year period. Right now is a nice entry point. Look at it on a 2-year basis. If you make 1 or 200% over a 2-year basis, you're making more than any other market for the most part. So look at it at 2-year time periods and buy in as you can afford.
They are doing exactly what you saw on Twitter. They're sharing Bitcoin right now.
Yeah. It's the time to buy.
It's the time to buy, guys. So cool. So we all are here. Even though I'm Bitcoin maximalist. I believe this is the only thing that should stay, but because there are very good projects coming across. This is all I have from the panel. I would open to the floor. Any questions from the floor here on Bitcoin halving? Or we'll probably close it as such. We close it? Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being on the panel. Bitcoin halving was short and sweet panel. Preethi, Jake, Sathvik, Siddharth, thank you very much and much appreciate your time. Thank you.
Here we need to talk about a disclaimer because we did talk about pricing. So I think whatever we said here is of our opinion, not advice.
It's an opinion of a panelist and does not show
It's not an advice. Yeah.
It's an advice, not financial advice. Thank you very much. Yes, much appreciated.
Thank you so much. If you like our videos and want more information about cryptocurrency and new ICO, please subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell icon. Thank you.